Hey guys, this is Trevor. This is the Land Investing Dirt Road to Wealth podcast. Today is the first day of February 2025. Gonna Today we're gonna kind of talk about what I consider the three different types of development, pros and cons, good and bad. Where that is in the market, and we'll kind of go from there. Talk about some of the stuff we got in the works and what we're working on right now. And kind of give you an update, but also give you some ideas of where you may or may not want to work on the quote unquote development end, right? So, first of all, what we count or what are the three types of quote unquote development, in my opinion, right? Again, different things, different folks, different places, right? We have rural subdivisions. That's something that family's been doing forever. That is a new survey, a meets and bounds, potentially running through county commissioners, but not being a let's say a capital intensive project, right? You're going to run some power, you're going to build some road, you're going to do usually all weather road, the real basics, right? This will be county, state and county dependent as far as your rules and regs. You want to talk to a very good engineering or surveying firm. You will potentially have to walk projects through, but for the most part, there's not going to be a whole lot of hoops to jump through. Okay, right now in this market and the way interest rates are, it's still a absolutely wonderful way of doing business. However, depending on your exit costs and your ability to carry paper on that will dictate whether or not it's a good thing to do right now. If you have the capital, you can buy it cash, you can force appreciation, and you can sell those on notes. I think that's a great opportunity, right? I think there's an opportunity to buy stuff, double the value of it, and then sell those on owner finance notes. Whether that's to yourself, whether that's to individuals, whether that's to larger institutions, I think is absolutely fantastic. Okay. If you're gonna have a $200,000 to $300,000 piece of dirt that doesn't have a lot of the improvements on it, then you're gonna sit on that thing if you can't offer owner financing the way the banks and interest rates are going right now. You're at a 7, 8, 9% interest rate with a 15, 25, 20, 25, 30% down payment. A lot of people cannot afford that right now, or do they want to afford it, right? So like I said, we've got a bunch of inventory just talking like that right now. There's still good deals. There's still got equity in them. There's still lots of opportunity there. But again, we all know we can't eat equity flakes, right? That is something that I will continue to do until the day I die. I'll continue to do that kind of product, but that's where I don't know, and maybe it's my own damn fault, but that's starting about 4 years ago and talking about it and doing everything else. Now everybody wants to be a quote unquote subdivider, right? So maybe that was a good thing, maybe it wasn't. Obviously, the markets and the counties have changed their rules and regs, and so it's harder to do. But anytime anything is harder to do, there's more opportunity in it, right? And so I will follow all this up soon enough with what I'm doing to kind of combat that. So, next thing is what we call acreage lots. All right, in the state of Texas, usually if it's above 1 acre, you can do two things that allow you to not carry the same number or the same burden of overall capital costs. Okay. What the hell are you talking about, ProBand? The state of Texas, you can usually drill one well, personal well, and also use a septic system. That's exactly what I have at my house and where you're sitting in my shop right now. I've got 1.25 acres. It's got its own water well. It also has rural water as well that we use. It's got its own water well, and we are sewer is used, a septic system is used for any of the gray water coming from our house. Okay, so the developer of this particular property, that I literally live in an acreage subdivision, they don't have they have asphalt road, they don't have curb and gutter, right? They did have to work as far as some drainage stuff, but to be honest with you, it's some little culverts. It's not a big deal, right? The road work or the dirt work was part of it. Not a big deal. All right, pros and cons to that, right? It is a great way to add a lot of value. You can sometimes triple and quadruple the value of a per acreage basis for a quote unquote relatively cheap amount of money as far as the overall project. Okay. If I can come in and build a 26-foot wide, asphalt road, and it's going to cost me $150 to $175 a linear foot, compared to a asphalt road, curb and gutter, things like this, it's going to cost me shit. It depends on who you're talking to and things like this, but it's $250 to $300 a linear foot right now. Okay, that's a huge difference. You're not running sewer, you're not running water. If you don't have to, huge difference. Okay, so then you would just be running power, right? Most of the time you're going to have to come in and you're not going to run that overhead. You're going to lay that into a underground. But again, that's not a real big cost, right? You're going to drill or you're going to dig the lines there. You're probably going to spend 22 to 27, maybe $30 a linear foot, depending on where you're at and how much rock it is and how much your individual co-op or power company wants to bend you over the barrel. Some of these areas where you have large power companies, you can do it for free. So if they know they're going to get 30, 40 new customers, 50, 60, whatever it is, new customers, they're going to do it, right? So their CapEx cost is very little compared to the amount of money that they're going to make spending those meters, okay? That is a middle of the road, and that's something that a lot of people are not doing. And because they don't have the guts or they don't have the capital, or the downside of that is whenever you take that, most of the time you want to find kind of we call that a boutique subdivision, right? In my opinion, you need to make sure you're in the right market for the houses that are going to, the overall housing costs that are going to need to be there, right? So if I'm going to buy let's play with numbers here. Let's say I've got a $750,000 property that's 53 acres in Central Texas. Let's say it's north and west of Austin. It's in a great area closer to Liberty Hill. We can actually get good water wells, which is tough to do over there. Anyway, but let's just say like, hey, I'm going to sell these lots for $175,000 to $200,000 a lot, right? Which means an acre, let's just say 1 acre lots, right? Just for shits and giggles. I bought that for $32,000 an acre. I'm going to lose about 20-25% of overall acreage to infrastructure. Then what's going to happen is you're going to, let's say you can sell it for $150,000 or $175,000 to $200,000 a lot. Those numbers are very, very good, right? No one's going to say, hey man, there's no way that's going to work, right? The numbers are going to be very good. However, you have to make sure that you're in the market for people. If a builder's going to buy a lot at $175,000 to $200,000, they're probably going to build anywhere from a $750,000 to $1 million property. You have to make sure that your absorption rate is going to be there for that. Okay. There's lots of different ways that we can talk about that, but that's something that you actually need to make sure you get done. Okay. Again, I think with interest rate, if you're in a hot market, interest rates are good. If you can build some relationships with the small regional builders or 2 or 3 local builders that would be willing to kind of divide and conquer and get you bought out within a year or so, I think that's a great thing. one of the guys that's a student of mine that works in the Tennessee area. He's got some areas that outside of Nashville that are hot, that the builder's willing to buy all of it, right? In a boutique subdivision. I think that there's a lot of room in that market. I think that that's a wonderful thing to do. I think you just need to make sure it's close to a large MSA where lots and lots of things are going down. Okay. That is something that is the next baby step compared to a subdivision or a simple subdivide, right? We've got several of those in the pipeline that we're working on right now. We'll see how that goes. So I'll update you as that comes along. Next, true land development, right? And when I say that, I talk about that can be multi-use or it can be, residential. These are small lots that bring affordability to the housing market. Okay. Again, this is where you would be doing all of the entitlements and horizontal build out with a national or regional end buyer to buy the lots from you. Okay. I don't care what anybody says. These builders do no longer want to buy paper lots, right? They want to build houses. They're not there to jump through hoops. You and I, as what they would call land partners, are there to jump through all the hoops to deal with the cities and counties and everywhere else, jump through all the hoops, and then spend all the money not only to acquire and entitle, but also to develop the actual lots, right? So that means tons and tons of road work, tons and tons of drainage studies, building curb and gutter roads, running water, sewer, power, like all this stuff like this, right? You can work with a MUD, municipal utility district. You can work with a PID, which is a public improvement district. There's lots of different ways. There's lots of different ways of financing these, selling bonds, doing things like this, right? This is a nightmare to some people. It is a dream to others, and somewhere in between for just about everybody else. Okay. We have several of these that we're working on, and one that is especially awesome that we're going to be working with that Jordan brought to us that we're going to be kind of pushing through in an area that's very hot, but more importantly, the municipalities want it to be done, or the municipality wants it to be done and are willing to work with us to make sure that we can get it all done the way they want it. That right there is almost the biggest part of anything when it comes to this kind of stuff, right? If you're in an area that does not want to see development, stay the F out of that area. Stay out. Talk to other people, talk to other planning and zoning folks, and find out the areas that want to grow, that want to bring jobs, that want to bring housing, all of the above. Because without that, you will get nowhere and you will go broke and run yourself into a wall. Have open and honest conversations with lots of towns in the areas that you know and like, or get a hold of somebody like me and say, hey, I've got this deal, it's got water, it's got frontage, it's got this, blah, blah, and we can potentially work on some stuff. You will find that the development side is big and scary, but once you dive into it and get to know the movers and shakers and everything else, you realize that it's actually a very small club. And more importantly, it can be done. You don't need a special degree. You don't need a special anything, right? If you work with the correct people, you can do the entitlements. You can do any of it, right? That's what's exciting to me. That's what gets me fired up about all this is because not only the amount of money you can make, but also when you can come in and build something that's going to be good that the city or county really wants to see, and you're literally helping bring affordability to the housing market, right? That's the fun part. We talk with national builders all the time looking to do that. Affordability, whether that is offering owner financing on your rural subdivisions, whether that is keeping your prices down below the market on your acreage lots, or jumping through all the hoops in order to keep the lots and the dirt costs cheap enough to allow these builders to make the affordable properties, right? So that's where we're at right now. We've got kind of all three of those going on. Most of the rural subdivisions, I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole right now, unless it's a cheap enough product that we can do the owner financing side. Continue to raise capital. Had one big source that we thought was going to go. It still may go, but right now we're reaching out to a bunch of the family offices. That's been a learning process unto itself, but we've got some really cool opportunities in the pipeline, right? That's where I get fired up. I get fired up by my North Star. What we continue to keep talking about is to bring affordability to more and more people to buy land. I don't need to turn it into everything into a shopping center or a subdivision, right? I'm country. I like country. I don't like being on top of people, right? I want more and more people to be able to afford a 2, a 5, a 10, a 20, a 40, an 80, a 200-acre tract, right? But the banks aren't willing to do that. So I'm going to throw this out there. If you know people in New York, and I've already talked to some of y'all, and we're going to jump on some planes and trains and automobiles. If you know people in the high level financial stuff, you know, the Goldman Sachs, the whatever it is in New York or Dallas or one way or other, I'd love to talk to them about the opportunity and to be able to bring that to scale. Because this is what I'm going to do. I'm not trying to build skyscrapers. I'm not trying to build anything else, right? I'm finding that a lot of the land folks aren't land people, right? And that's fine, right? A lot of people got into land because it was the easier thing to do, not because they loved it. That's fine. Man, everybody has their own thing. But I will never, ever, ever get tired of stepping on a new piece of dirt somewhere. I will never, ever get tired of that gentleman basically not balling, but breaking down whenever in 2021 when I made a piece of dirt and hit the area that he wanted to for 20 plus years, made it affordable for him to buy and have. When he damn near broke down thanking me for providing that opportunity. Now I need to figure out a way to scale that on a level that brings affordability and an opportunity for the everyday person to invest into it. I don't know if that's a REIT. I don't know what that thing is. The fund is fine, you know, but that's not, I know that's not the end goal with everything. Whether that is, like I said, the land bank where we can provide opportunities for lots and lots of people all across the country, whether we own it or not, whether we can help other investors move their product and good quality product. I don't know what that is, and things will change over time. But that's the goal, and I'm going to keep talking about it until hopefully we can continue to do some cool stuff. Just like I said, I'm 42. I don't know how many years, good health, energy, things like this. But there's a lot of good, cool shit you can do in 8 to 10 years. So that's what we're going to do. So hope that helped a little bit. Like I said, if there's anything you need or want to do or got questions, whatever, reach out. Feel free to reach out to me. 940-736-8797 is my cell phone number. Give me a shout. We'll talk about it. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.